What if I told you that the secret to walking with confidence and ease well into your 80s and 90s comes down to just three simple movements you can do right now in your living room? Welcome to Prime Health Lab, where we bring you practical, science-backed health strategies designed specifically for your stage of life. Today, we're exploring the wisdom of Japan's oldest practicing doctor, who at 105 years old still walks independently and attributes much of his mobility to three essential leg exercises. If you're looking for straightforward health information that actually works, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss our weekly videos. Now, let's dive into why these three exercises matter so much and how they work together to transform the way you move. Let me start by sharing something important about how our bodies change after 60. You've probably noticed that walking doesn't feel quite the same as it did 20 or 30 years ago. Maybe you feel less stable on uneven surfaces. Perhaps you avoid stairs when you can. Or maybe you've noticed that after sitting for a while, those first few steps feel stiff and uncertain. This isn't just about getting older. It's about something very specific happening in your legs, and once you understand it, you'll see exactly why these three exercises are so powerful. Inside your legs, you have three critical muscle groups that work together like a perfectly coordinated team. Think of them as the foundation, the stabilizers, and the power generators. The foundation muscles are in your calves. Every single time you take a step, these muscles contract to push you forward. They're what allow you to rise up on your toes and propel yourself from one foot to the other. The stabilizer muscles are located along the sides and fronts of your thighs. These muscles keep you balanced, prevent your knees from wobbling, and help you change direction safely. Finally, the power generators are your hip and upper thigh muscles. These are what lift your leg forward with each step and give you the strength to stand up from a chair without using your arms. Now here's what happens naturally as we age. When we become less active, even just slightly less active than we were in our 40s and 50s, these three muscle groups begin to weaken in a very specific pattern. The calves lose their spring first. You might notice this when you feel flat-footed or when pushing off the ground takes more effort. Then the stabilizers start to fade, which is when you feel that wobbliness or uncertainty, especially on stairs or uneven ground. Finally, the power generators diminish, making it harder to stand up, climb hills, or walk for extended periods without fatigue. But here's the encouraging part. Research from longevity studies in Japan, where people routinely live active lives past 100, shows us something remarkable. When you target these three specific muscle groups with the right kind of movement, not aggressive exercise or complicated gym routines, but simple, focused movements done consistently, you can rebuild strength and coordination at any age. The key is understanding that you don't need to work every muscle in your body. You need to work the right muscles in the right way. Japan's oldest doctor discovered this through both his medical practice and his own personal experience. He noticed that patients who maintained these three specific movement patterns, even if they did nothing else, retained their ability to walk independently far longer than those who didn't. He began prescribing these three exercises to every patient over 60, and the results were so consistent that he made them a cornerstone of his own daily routine. At 105, he still performs these three movements every single morning, and he credits them with allowing him to walk without assistance, climb stairs, and maintain the independence that makes life enjoyable. What makes these exercises different from generic leg workouts is their focus on functional movement. They don't just make your muscles bigger or stronger in isolation. They train your muscles to work together the way they need to work when you're actually walking. They improve the communication between your brain and your legs. They enhance your balance reflexes, and they rebuild the confidence that comes from knowing your legs will support you reliably, whether you're walking to the mailbox, navigating a grocery store, or playing with your grandchildren. The first exercise is called the calf awakening, and it targets those foundation muscles we talked about earlier. This movement is deceptively simple, but when done correctly, it does something profound for your entire walking mechanics. Let me explain exactly how to do it and why it works so well. Stand next to a sturdy chair or counter, something solid that you can touch lightly for balance if needed. Your feet should be hip-width apart, which means there's about a fist-sized space between your heels. Start with your weight evenly distributed on both feet and make sure you're standing tall with your shoulders relaxed. Now, slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as you comfortably can. Hold this position for just 2 seconds, then slowly lower your heels back down to the floor with control. That's one repetition. The goal is to perform 15 repetitions, and you should do this twice each day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Now let me tell you what's happening inside your body when you do this movement. When you rise up onto your toes, your calf muscles contract forcefully. This contraction does three important things simultaneously. First, it strengthens the muscle fibers themselves, making them more capable of generating the push-off force you need with every step you take. Second, it improves blood circulation in your lower legs. You see, your calf muscles act like a pump, squeezing blood back up toward your heart against the force of gravity. When these muscles are weak or underused, blood can pool in your lower legs, leading to that heavy, tired feeling many people experience by the end of the day. By activating these muscles deliberately, you're enhancing this pumping action and improving overall circulation. Third, and this is perhaps the most important benefit, this exercise reinforces the neural pathways between your brain and your calf muscles. Think of these pathways like telephone lines. The more you use them, the clearer and faster the signal becomes. When you practice this rising motion repeatedly, you're teaching your brain to activate these muscles quickly and efficiently. This translates directly to better walking because your brain can call upon these muscles instantly whenever you need them, whether you're stepping over a curb or catching your balance on an uneven surface. The reason Japan's oldest doctor emphasizes this particular exercise is because he observed that people who lose their ability to rise up on their toes are the same people who start shuffling when they walk. Shuffling happens when you can no longer generate enough force to lift and propel yourself forward properly. Your feet start sliding along the ground instead of lifting cleanly with each step. This shuffling gait is not just slower and more tiring, it's also significantly more dangerous because your toes can catch on small obstacles, leading to trips and falls. By practicing the calf awakening every single day, you're maintaining or rebuilding that essential push-off power. You'll notice the difference in how your walking feels. Instead of dragging or shuffling, you'll feel a spring in your step. You'll be able to walk faster when you need to, and you'll feel more confident because your feet are doing what they're supposed to do, lifting clearly off the ground with each stride. One important note about form. When you're rising up onto your toes, try to lift as high as you can, but never force it to the point of pain. You should feel your calf muscles working, a sensation of effort and engagement, but not sharp pain or cramping. If you do feel a cramp coming on, lower back down immediately, shake out your legs gently, and start again with a slightly smaller range of motion. Over time, as your calves get stronger, you'll naturally be able to rise higher. Also, focus on the lowering phase just as much as the lifting phase. Don't just drop your heels back down quickly. Lower them slowly and with control. This controlled lowering, what exercise scientists call the eccentric phase, is actually where much of the strength building happens. It also trains your muscles to control your movement, which is crucial for walking downhill or downstairs safely. Many people who start this exercise notice improvements within just 2 weeks. They report that their legs feel lighter, that they can walk longer distances without fatigue, and that they feel more stable overall. Some people even notice that the chronic achiness in their lower legs, that vague discomfort that seemed like just part of getting older, begins to fade away. This happens because stronger, more active calf muscles reduce the strain on your joints and connective tissues. The second exercise is called the seated knee extension, and this one targets those stabilizer muscles along the front and sides of your thighs. This is the movement that brings back that feeling of solid, unwavering balance when you walk. Let me walk you through exactly how to perform it. Sit in a sturdy chair with your back supported and your feet flat on the floor. Your knees should be bent at about a 90-degree angle. Now slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until it's completely extended, parallel to the floor. As you extend your leg, point your toes up toward the ceiling so that you feel the muscle along the front of your thigh really engage and tighten. Hold this extended position for 5 full seconds. You should feel a strong contraction in that front thigh muscle. Then, slowly lower your foot back to the floor with control. That's 1 repetition. Do 10 repetitions with your right leg, then switch and do 10 repetitions with your left leg. Perform this exercise once each day, preferably in the morning when your muscles are fresh. What makes this exercise so valuable is how precisely it targets the quadriceps muscle, that large muscle group running down the front of your thigh. This muscle group has a job that most people don't fully appreciate. Yes, it helps you straighten your leg, but more importantly, it acts as your primary knee stabilizer. When you're walking and you put weight on one leg, your quadriceps muscle contracts to keep your knee steady and prevent it from buckling or giving way. Without strong quadriceps, your knees feel unreliable, almost like they might collapse unexpectedly, and this creates tremendous anxiety about walking, especially on uneven ground or stairs. Japan's oldest doctor emphasizes this exercise because he noticed a clear pattern in his patients. Those who maintained strong quadriceps muscles were the ones who continued walking with confidence well into their 90s. Those whose quadriceps had weakened were the ones who became fearful of walking, who started using walkers prematurely, and who gradually restricted their lives because movement felt unsafe. The tragedy, he discovered, was that this weakness was entirely preventable and reversible through this one simple seated movement. When you perform the seated knee extension correctly, you're doing several things at once. You're building pure strength in the muscle fibers, yes, but you're also improving what's called proprioception. This is your body's ability to sense where your leg is in space and how much force it's generating. Better proprioception means better balance and coordination. It means your body can make tiny, automatic adjustments to keep you stable without you even thinking about it. The 5-second hold at the top of the movement is crucial. Don't rush through it. During this hold, your muscle fibers are working isometrically, meaning they're generating force without changing length. This type of contraction is especially good at building the endurance and stability you need for walking. When you walk, your quadriceps aren't just firing in quick bursts, they're sustaining contractions throughout each step to keep your knee stable. By holding that extended position, you're training your muscles to sustain effort, which translates directly to better walking stamina. Many people notice something interesting when they start this exercise. One leg is often noticeably weaker than the other. You might be able to hold the extension easily with your right leg, but struggle to hold it as long or as high with your left leg. This is completely normal and actually very revealing. This imbalance, when left unaddressed, is often what leads to uneven walking patterns where you favor one side over the other. Over time, this compensation can lead to hip or back discomfort. By working each leg individually with this exercise, you're identifying and correcting these imbalances before they cause problems. Now, the third exercise is called the hip marching lift, and this targets those power generator muscles in your hips and upper thighs. This is the movement that gives you the strength to lift your legs properly and walk with energy rather than exhaustion. You can do this exercise either sitting or standing, depending on your current fitness level. If you're just starting out or if balance is a concern, sit in that same sturdy chair. If you feel confident, you can stand and hold on to a counter for light support. From either position, lift one knee up toward your chest as high as you comfortably can. The goal is to bring your thigh at least parallel to the floor, though higher is even better if you can manage it without straining. Hold this lifted position for 3 seconds, then slowly lower your foot back down. Do 10 repetitions with one leg, then switch to the other leg for 10 repetitions. Perform this exercise once daily. This movement targets your hip flexor muscles and your gluteal muscles, the muscles in your buttocks. Together, these muscle groups control the lifting and forward swing of your leg with each step. When these muscles are weak, walking becomes exhausting because you're essentially dragging your legs forward rather than lifting them cleanly through the air. You've probably seen people who walk with very small, shuffling steps, barely lifting their feet off the ground. This happens when the hip flexors and glutes have weakened to the point where lifting the leg requires enormous effort. What Japan's oldest doctor observed was that maintaining strong hip flexors didn't just make walking easier, it made walking feel enjoyable again. His patients who did this exercise regularly reported that they started looking forward to their daily walks instead of dreading them. They had the energy to walk further, to explore their neighborhoods, to remain socially active. This matters enormously for overall health because walking is one of the most powerful things you can do for your heart, your brain, your bones, and your emotional well-being. But you can't get those benefits if walking feels like a monumental effort. The 3-second hold at the top of this movement serves the same purpose as the hold in the knee extension. It builds endurance and trains your muscles to sustain effort. It also challenges your balance, which is an added benefit. When you're standing on one leg with the other knee lifted, your body has to make constant micro adjustments to keep you upright. This challenges and strengthens all the small, stabilizing muscles throughout your core and standing leg. When these 3 exercises are done together consistently, something remarkable happens. They work synergistically, meaning each one enhances the benefits of the others. Your calves provide the propulsion. Your quadriceps provide the stability. Your hip flexors provide the power. Together, they restore the complete walking pattern that allows you to move through life with confidence, independence, and genuine pleasure. You're not just exercising for the sake of exercising. You're reclaiming your freedom to go where you want to go and do what you want to do. So there you have it. 3 simple exercises: the calf awakening to restore your push-off power, the seated knee extension to stabilize your knees and build confidence, and the hip marching lift to give you the strength to walk with energy and ease. Together, these movements take less than 10 minutes each day, yet they address the 3 most critical muscle groups for maintaining independent mobility as you age. Japan's oldest doctor has proven through his own life and the lives of countless patients that staying active and mobile into your 80s, 90s, and beyond isn't about luck or genetics. It's about giving your body the specific movement it needs to stay strong and capable. Start with these 3 exercises today. Be consistent, be patient with yourself, and watch as your confidence, your energy, and your independence come flooding back. If you found this information valuable, do me a favor and share it with someone you care about who might benefit. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can continue getting practical, effective health strategies designed specifically for your stage of life. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep moving, keep strong, and keep living your best life.
Prime Health Lab is dedicated to men's internal health. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.